Thank you very much. Patrick, come here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to this maiden edition of Physician in the House. Sorry for the delay.
You pay for it.
We are starting behind schedule. We are sorry. Our data is running and all that. We understand the times that we are in. But God will see us through in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Without much ado, please, we just hit the road running. Basically, it's going to be a very short and concise presentation. If I'm making an edition, there'll be a lot of teaching problem anyway, and we hope that as we go on, we perfect it. You can hear me? We hope that as we go on, we perfect this one, and it will be better. It will keep on getting better as we go on. So welcome again, welcome once again, everyone. Today we said we will be talking about hypertension generally. Now I put up I'm sharing something on the screen about hypertension. The topic, first class of 90, topic is hypertension. This is just a brief outline of how we're going to address the discourse. Just going to be brief and concise so that we have something to take home. We don't want to bore you with too many stuff. We just make it brief so that you arm yourself with information. You say information is power. So I'll start by saying, by simple definition, we hear hypertension every day, everywhere. What does hypertension really mean? When you say someone is hypertensive, what do you really mean? What do you mean? What do you understand by that? Simply put, hypertension means, for WHO has a definition, a very long definition, but I want to summarize to say that before you can say you're hypertensive, your blood pressure must have been measured. And it is that measurement that will now grade you. We put you at the grade where you belong. It just simply means that when the blood pressure is beyond a certain level, the individual is classified as hypertensive. I'm sending something onto the WhatsApp platform for the grades. Now, for us, middle age, is very important because the studies are beginning to show that the earlier you are able to take steps, you're able to prevent complications and then live positively, live with it for a much longer time, unlike before, our parents, without complications. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Everybody's
value that WHO gave us for hypertension. Anybody with if your blood pressure is measured, and your blood pressure and there are two parameters. There is the one on top that is known as the systolic pressure and the diastolic. Now, don't bother about those words. There are two values. One is that just like denominator and numerator that we know in simple mathematics. Now, that denominator and the numerator are the values that we're going to be looking at. Denominator is the one on top, and that one is denominator is one below. And that was the systolic. And the numerator is what top. And that's the
Dr. Ngozi, I think
systolic over diastolic. There is a value that the idea is to see a wayly enough and then address. Now, currently, the current value they are talking about, if you measure your blood pressure and they tell you 128, then you are said to be normal. Anything above that is not normal. 120/80 is normal.
I think we lost Dr. Ngozi.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she's connected. Okay.
Hypertension is actually the stage that we want to catch it and deal with it, and that is the target for us. Hello, I hope people are hearing me.
We can hear you.
Ngozi, we are hear you. We can hear you.
Deji. Hello, Deji. Hello, Deji.
Deji is muted.
What I'm saying is that they should move all of us. Ngozi and Nike
That's what I did initially. That's what I did initially.
It moves all of us, then after their presentation, you can start asking questions.
Dr. Ngozi, can you please unmute yourself, and Nike, please, can you please unmute yourself from your side?
Pardon? Pardon?
We can see you, we can hear you, Dr. Ngozi. Nike, can you please continue?
I think he's trying to define what hypertension is. Hypertension can be defined as increase in blood pressure. Before we even know, because some people will say I have BP. I always laugh when they say I have blood pressure. Everybody has blood pressure. The only thing is when it's either it is high or it is low. And when those cases occur, that is when it is abnormal. I hope you are hearing me.
Everybody's just not. Yes, they can hear. They can hear
okay.
you.
So now the blood pressure is just a circulating blood that is being circulated through the arterial wall. That's it. So the pressure at which its blood moves into the vessels, that is what is called blood pressure. And the most important organ that does this thing is the heart. So invariably, we are measuring the pressure at which the heart pumps out blood into the peripheral, into the other systems. So when we now say blood pressure, Ngozi was saying the other time, blood pressure, when we say we have hypertension or when there is increase in blood pressure, that is when the blood pressure. Ngozi, are you back? Is Ngozi back? Okay, that is when the blood pressure is greater than 120 millimeters of mercury, all over 80 millimeters of mercury. She was saying that just don't bother about the upper one and the lower one. Just know that we have a numerator and we have a denominator. So when the blood pressure is greater than that, it is said to be hypertension. And we have several grades of hypertension. So in a nutshell, when we want to talk to lay people about hypertension, we say the normal blood pressure is between 120 and 80 and 140 and 90. So when it is above that, those range, that is when we count it as abnormal. And I will also want to add to it that blood pressure, the definition of hypertension differs by age. I hope people are hearing me. Deji.
Yes, they
You can
can.
go on. We can
Yes,
hear
they
you.
can hear you. I'm very sure they can hear you, but they can't just. You can't see your face, yeah.
We can hear
Can't
you.
see your face.
You are very clear.
I don't
Clear
know
and
what is
loud.
wrong.
Please
Oh.
continue.
So
You
the
position your.
definition of hypertension
Okay.
differs by age. Like I am a pediatrician, there are certain age limits at which we define our hypertension. But when we get to adults, that is when we define it as, maybe we have a bracket for it. But it's still, when you get beyond the elderly age, it still has its own limits of definition of hypertension. But generally, the range of normal blood pressure is between 120/80 and 140/90. When you have when your blood pressure is greater than that, we say you have hypertension. And it is not just when it is measured once. It has to be measured in 3 consecutive times. So when you measure it at 3 consecutive times in a time space and find out it is consistently increasing, that is when we say such person has hypertension. So we now go to discuss to the second outline briefly to talk about the prevalence of hypertension. Prevalence worldwide, we know that hypertension is one of the deadly or silent killer diseases. And worldwide, we have over 1 billion people that are affected with this illness. And in Nigeria, when I check the data for adults, it's about 28.1 or 29%. And they are even projecting by the year 2030, the blood pressure will have, the prevalence or the occurrence or the frequency of the disease will have increased to more than 39%. So, and it is said to be common in males. So male, the prevalence in male is slightly more than female. That of male is about 27%, while that of male is female is about 25%. So we have different types of hypertension. When we talk about hypertension, what are the types of hypertension we have? We have the primary type and we have the secondary type. The primary type being that the cause is unknown, but it is associated with some risk factors. Whereas the secondary type of hypertension, it's as a result, the hypertension results from an underlying condition. So when we talk about primary hypertension, the risk factors associated with it could be as a result of genetic factors. That is, when we say, when your body makeup, your makeup genetically is for you to develop hypertension. And at the same time, you have some other environmental factors that will predispose to having hypertension. The aging is also there. When you get old, there are some changes that occur in the body, like the blood vessels, the vessels that carry blood, it becomes thicker. So the lumen becomes narrower. Therefore, the pressure increases from our physics. So that is another contributing factor to primary cause of hypertension. Then the type of lifestyle we live, unhealthy lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle, smoking, taking alcohol, and all those things. Those are the predisposing factors. We call them risk factors to developing a primary hypertension. But for the secondary type of hypertension, that is when I said earlier on that you have an underlying cause. Like the cause could be as a result of kidney problem, kidney diseases. It could be as a result of diabetes. It could be as a result of maybe side effects of medications that someone has taken. It could be as a illicit use of drugs. So adrenal problems with the thyroid gland, those are the problems that predisposes to want to have a secondary type of hypertension. So this is very important to know, because when a patient presents with hypertension, we will try to find out the cause of the hypertension. If the cause is you have an underlying problem, we'll be able to address the underlying problem. Addressing the underlying problem will bring down the blood pressure. We'll be able to control the blood pressure. But if after doing several tests and you find out that all these underlying factors are not present, then that is why you now say it is unknown. The cause is unknown. So we can now attribute it to maybe the person that is the genetic makeup of the person. And that's the reason why we ask for the family history. Maybe it occurs in the family. We ask for the history of your lifestyle generally, so that those are the things you try to find out in order for you to help the doctor when treating such patients. So I think, don't let me talk beyond that. Let's now discuss, I think in our outline, she was talking about symptoms, signs and symptoms of hypertension. About over 80% cases of people, they don't, we always say they are asymptomatic. Over 80% of people don't have any symptoms. And that is why it is called a silent killer. You don't have any symptoms. You don't know that your blood pressure is increasing. So that is why you see some people, they say maybe when the blood pressure has gone beyond normal, has really gone like 120, 200, over 120 like that, the person just slumped and fall down and die like that. So and people will be saying, and the person is healthy, but because the person has no symptoms, that is why the person is assumed to be healthy until proven otherwise. So that's it. Most of those people who have hypertension do not have symptoms. However, some people that present with symptoms, like less than 20% of cases. I hope people are hearing.
They can hear you. They can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is Ungozi hearing me?
She's just reconnecting now. She's just reconnecting.
Oh,
yeah.
So like as I've said, like the less than 20% of cases that have that present with symptoms, they either present with symptoms of a complication, because once you don't know that it is happening, it will have gone beyond measure. It will have gone down to causing some form of damaging some parts of the organ. Then the patient will come down with symptoms of a complication. They will just find out that someone just presents with stroke like that. So, and in some cases, some people they present with headache, they present with visual changes. Some, they present with dizziness, they become dizzy. Some have a blurring of vision, shortness of breath, and they have shortness of breath.
Can I say something? Yes, sorry, I'm back. Can I just chip in something? Sorry, okay. Sorry. It's raining on my side, so network is disrupted. It's important for us to note that it's a silent killer, like they call it. So before you start having symptoms, by the time you start having symptoms, it's almost late. So don't wait till you start having symptoms. So the best thing is to always go and check, so that once it's discovered, something can be done. There are things that you can do.
So, continue. We are talking about the symptoms now. So, continue.
Usually, it doesn't have any particular symptoms. So, by the time you hear someone coming with headache and dizziness, already you are talking about complications. It's almost too late. So that's why it's advised that you identify it early enough and nip it in the bud, or do something to ameliorate it. You don't want to start coming with dizziness or chest pain and difficulty in breathing. At that point, it's almost, you're already having, we're talking about complications already. For your brain to already start, for you to be having dizziness, your brain is affected now. Those are organs that we don't want it to affect before you start doing something. So we won't say there are signs and symptoms, but the signs that you come with are usually signs of complications. So the earlier you identify, the better. So it's advised that after 40, once you are above 40 years of age and you have a family, I don't know if Nika told us about the fact that there are risk factors. There are some that we can modify and there are some you cannot modify. For example, age. Whether we like it or not, with age, certain diseases come with age, and you cannot modify this one. You understand? Hello? Hello? Yes.
Continue.
So
We can hear you. We can hear you.
yeah,
Continue.
there are modifiable and there are risk factors that you can modify, and there are some you can modify. For example, they're like age. If you are above 40, as you are aging, you can't change your age, no matter how you declare age. No matter how you declare it, you are 16, you are 15. Age is age, and the body will age, whether we like it or not. So age, you can't modify it. Gender. Now, in the gender aspect, women are protected before menopause, but after menopause, they equalize with the men. So the men tend to have high BP earlier than the women because women are protected by their hormones. But by the time they hit menopause, the hormones that protect them wanes off, and they have equal risk with men. Of course, there are other things. We talk about certain ethnic groups. Some they say the blacks are at higher risk. Well, Oyibo is one talking, so they can always tell us anything and we'll swallow. They say we are at high risk, and they talk about genetics. It runs in the family. Now, if you have a parent who is hypertensive, there's a higher risk of you having hypertension. That's just it. The genes load it, because there's a saying that the genes will load the problem. The genes will load it, but the fact that the gene is loaded does not mean that it must manifest. So that's why we talk about modifiable and non-modifiable factors. So the ones you cannot modify are these ones I've mentioned. So the genes themselves can load it, but then your lifestyle, which is the modifiable factors, are the ones that will not pull the trigger. It's just like a gun. Your genetics will load those factors, like your parents have it, your siblings have it, so it's there in your gene. However, the way you now live your life will now make you either cause it to unravel itself or not. Your lifestyle that will now, pull the trigger, more or less. So that's why we say lifestyle is a backbone of blood pressure control. So that even if your parents, your siblings have it, and you modify your lifestyle. What do we mean by? We'll get to the meaning of lifestyle modification later. You modify your lifestyle. There are certain things you do. For the most important one is like exercise. You are not sedentary. You are not living an inactive life. You're a very active person. In that will protect you more or less. So those are the modifiable and non-modifiable factors that can put you at risk. We think there is no cost. However, there are things that you do that will put you at risk. There are the genetic ones. Your parents have it, your age, your gender, those things will predispose you. But then there are things that now modify those things and make and unravel the blood pressure in you that already has been loaded. Now, sorry, I took us back to risk factors. So we'll go to the modifiable factors. What are those things you can modify? Obesity, sedentary life. You see, black man, we like to show that we are rich. Some all these rich men, they feel that the sign of to be wealthy is to have a protruding belly. So everybody will know I've arrived, I've hit it, and all that. They don't know that it's sickness. That thing is real sickness. Obesity is the backbone of many diseases. I don't even want to start. Cancers, all. So one of the big major things that causes obesity is when people are sedentary. You go to office from morning to 4, you're sitting down. You get back home, you sit down in front of the television with remote or with your phone. You are chatting. You are doing for the 24 hours. You haven't moved up to 30 minutes. Most people. And that is the life the Oyibo man introduced to us. And like our forefathers, they will go to the farm. They had so many things. They will go and hunt. They had so many things they were doing. They were living mostly on vegetables. How much meat were they getting there? Now we sit down, we eat chicken, we eat pork, we eat so many things, and we just sit down in one place. Your body will just digest it and store it as fast. It cannot burn it. So obesity is a backbone, is a major risk factor that can be modified. See, I talked about the one you cannot modify. That one is there. But this one that you can modify is where we are targeting because we can do something about it. Obesity. Now, sedentary lifestyle can also make you obese. Then, of course, we say lifestyle, smoking, alcohol, excess salt consumption. Some people, they'll give them food. They will, before they even taste the food, it's common with my Igbo brothers and sisters. Before they even taste the food, my father used to do it in those days. Before you taste the food, he will ask you to put salt in his presence. You must put salt, fresh salt. So we advise no added salt. Once that food is cooked as it is, just eat it like that. Nothing like, yeah, there's not enough salt in this, doesn't have taste. You go and get salt. In those days, they used to have this Maggi liquid that people put on food, and before they start eating and all that. Once that food is cooked, though, as it is cooked, don't add salt down. So we call it no added salt. Just eat the food like that. It's even advised that when if you're cooking, just enough salt to taste your food after that age. Enough salt to taste your food. You don't want to be adding excess salt in your food. Just enough for you to taste the food and it will make sense to you. So those are the risk factors that we can modify. We can modify what you eat. You want to go on more. Vegetarians have been noted to, have delay. They don't usually have all this. They don't get fat. They have lean muscles. So, and the likelihood of them having hypertension is reduced, So your diet is important. Exercise is important. Even if you walk, if you're walking and you know that your work does not allow you to move around, of course, when you get home, you have to find time. At least they advise 30 to 40 minutes, maximum 45 minutes, 3 times a week. Maybe if your church or your mosque is not far, you can actually trek instead of entering your car and driving. You can actually, take a walk. The walk is supposed to be brisk, what we call brisk. The kind of walk, when you are walking, you don't stop and start greeting, hello, you just wave and you move. It's supposed to be a walk that you can sing, but you can talk, but you can't sing. That's how I describe it to people. You can talk, but you can't sing, because if you are to sing, it will take more from you, more energy from you. But you can greet somebody, hi, and you move. Brisk walk, at least 3 to 4 times a week, 30 to 45 minutes a day. Or you can take a skipping rope. I advise skipping rope. You skip in your house. Now, because of insecurity and all that, people can't go out to do all these outdoor activities. So we advise that you can get a skipping rope at home, or if you're buoyant, you get all this in-house, what do you call it, and you use, just something that will make you sweat. You make sure that you are sweated for at least 45 minutes in a day, at least 3 to 4 times a week. It doesn't mean some people will be doing these exercises and then they'll be weighing themselves. I have a friend that she was weighing herself. Her weight was not going there. Whether you lose weight or not, it doesn't matter. But as long as you're doing it, your heart is healthy. Your heart is pumping blood to all parts of your body, and ahead. So that is what is required. You don't have to lose weight, but the important thing is that you keep doing it. So exercise is a very important aspect of blood pressure control. And the exercise is not just for blood pressure, for many, many things. For diabetes, in fact, it's been said that exercise releases some hormones that make people happy. So you find that even in times of depression, they tell people to go and run, do exercise, do something they like doing, swim. We don't swim in this part of the world for reasons I don't know why. But you can swim, you can, go skiing. Both people have a lot of it, but we here, you can farm, you can garden. If you have a garden behind your house, you can go and you farm, you plant vegetables. Once you're sweating, you're doing something that you're sweating, it's just okay for at least 45 minutes. So exercise, I don't want us to lose sight of that one, because that's something we can do that can help us. You don't want us. Hello, I've lost connection.
We can hear you.
Okay,
We can hear you.
So exercise, I've talked about exercise, because that exercise is one thing that will make you not gain weight too much, and it keeps your heart healthy. Okay, those are the things we can modify. Alcohol, our men like it a lot. Yes, well, what is advised is the red wine. The red wine can protect your heart, but these spirits, we have something they call gospolo. That one, I don't know how they brew it. That thing, I'm sure that thing is like ethanol. It's terrible. And they drink it. If you see them, wow. So alcohol, our men, our brothers in the house, please, even one glass of alcohol will not do you any good. In fact, there's a study somebody sent to me recently. is high risk. Alcohol is very high risk, especially in hypertension. So please, if you are indulging in it, try and find a way to cut down. It's not enjoyment, though. It's not enjoyment. So at least red wine is preferred. Grapes, red grapes, and all that. I don't know if Nika has anything to add. Alcohol, smoking is even worse. Smoking is even worse. So, hello, Nika. Nika. Hello, Nika. Is Nika there? Nika. Yes. Do you have anything to add there on the modifiable factors? Because that's where the thing, our emphasis should be on. Because
yes,
those are the
what
things
I
we
need
can
to,
do. Those
what I
are the
want
things
to
we
add
can
is,
do.
yeah, you've talked about the physical activity. You've talked about
Yes.
smoking,
Yes.
alcohol,
Yes.
reduction of
So,
sugar
yes.
intake. Yes, I
But yes.
really want to dwell more on dietary recommendation too.
Yes.
Our diet is very, very important. And when we were less than 40 years, we can afford to eat all sorts of things. But any age about 40 years, you try to control, you find out that all the things you used to eat, you need to drop, or some of them, like
Red
eating
meat.
of
Red meat.
red meat,
Oh, yeah. Oh.
red meat, goat meat, cow meat, all
Red.
those ones are examples of red
Yeah.
meat. So all those ones, they're example of red meat.
Very
So you
sweet,
need
but,
to, there's need to drop all those things and now preferably go to plants, eating of what is it called, products of plants or poultry,
plant origin.
fish, turkey, chicken. Those are the things. White meat, preferably
Yes.
white meat. Those are the things you go for. Then in the
Even
use of
the
oil, our women,
Mm.
in preparing food for our husbands, there is need for us to go for the unsaturated type of fats like sunflower oil. You take more of
olive
all
oil.
those sunflower oil, soya oil, which other oil that is good?
Olive oil too is good.
Olive oil is good too. So those are the things, because they contain unsaturated fatty acid and they are easily digestible. The products of their breakdown, it's a good type of fat, not the bad type of fat. So it enhances the good type of production of good type of fat, which is very useful to the body. Then what will I talk of then? I think those are the things. Then you eat more of, you eat now less of carbohydrates, eat more of protein containing food, and eat more of vegetables now. Fruits, fruit is very, very good now, because apart from the fact that they they we get some vitamins and minerals from them, they are also a source of antioxidants, which also prevent us from getting all other forms of diseases like that. So it is very, very important for us. Fruit consumption, vegetable consumption, it's so important. So as you are getting older, you reduce your carbohydrate intake and make sure that you consume more of vegetables, more of food that contains high fiber diet meat now, like eating of whole meat, eating of oats, taking oats, then all other, we reduce all these bayon. You have to reduce it. If you must take iyon, you take it in a small portion and consume more of vegetables.
But your feast,
Uh,
you make a feast. You make a feast. Your hand feast like this. That's the
uh,
quantity you should
that
eat.
feast,
That's
yes,
the
that's the
guide.
quantity. Well, you
That
consume
feast.
more of vegetables. So
That's
in
a
a
feast
nutshell, what we are
with
saying is
vegetable
that,
soup.
yes, the more we get older, as the main reason why we are coming together to discuss is for us to be able to learn, as we are our ages are more than 40 years now. So there is need for us to really take some form of cautions in what we take into our system. Food is good, and at the same time, food can be a source of poison to our body. So we watch what our food intake, what we take in, and we watch also
Now move to our
how
bodies,
we live
exercise
our lives,
more.
our lifestyles. We need
You
to
know,
really
the
work on
tendency is
that.
that you grow older, you don't want to do exercise. You are more, you move less.
So I think by and large, for the modifiable factors, I think those are the ones. And those are the ones, as I said earlier, those factors are factors contributing to a primary type of hypertension. The secondary type of hypertension, we are sorry, we are not going to deal with that because it's more of medically
Yes,
inclined.
yes.
What
Most
is it
of
called?
usually the people that have it usually are younger people, and there is
Yeah.
usually due to something, a cause. It has a cause, maybe from the kid.
So those are the things. By the time we start talking about that, we'll just be talking about our jargons and you won't understand again. So let's just leave it like that. I think for this short presentation, we welcome questions now. I think by people asking questions, they'll be able to get much more understanding of what we have discussed so far. So over to you, Deji.
Yeah, if anybody that wants to ask a question can unmute his or herself, they ask a question, then you go back to mute so that the doctors can answer them. So over to the house.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hello.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want, first of all, I'd like to appreciate the facilitator, our IC guru, George. That is only a good job. And I also appreciate the doctor.
I'm not hearing. I can't hear him very well.
Okay, I said I want to appreciate the facilitator, the IT guru, Adefonle George. I want to also appreciate the doctors who have made this happen. So my question is, we have said a lot about food. What about water? Don't you think the acid level of water can also impact blood pressure? Just a question. Water. You know, some water that we drink, the acid level, acidic level is high. I don't know if you know about that. Can you hear me?
I don't know. Ngozi?
The pH of water. What's
pH
the pH
of water? Exactly.
The pH of water is 7.1.
Yes, what I'm saying is we consume some water that have high pH level.
Yes.
Very acidic. Very acidic. So in other words, what I'm saying is, what's the impact of that to high blood pressure? Taking acidic water or water that has high acidic level, what is the impact on our health with respect to high blood pressure? Thank you.
Ngozi, do you want to answer that, or I should answer it? Hello? Hello? Oh. Hello?
Hello, I can't hear you, Ngozi, but if you can answer, better you answer it so that we know. I don't know.
Yes, the intake of water, normal intake of water now, because we know that the pH of water is neutral. So if you take a well-prepared water, it has nothing to do with blood pressure. And however, if you take, like, okay, you find yourself in an environment, whether maybe you take, I think, brackish water or some other forms of water that contains high acid. I've never read the relationship of taking acid water with hypertension, but when an acidic water is taken, it causes other damage. So even if at all, if intake of acid water will cause an increase in blood pressure, that will be an indirect cause of it. It can be a direct cause of hypertension. So I've never read, I've never gone to, I've never read anything, any article on acid and water. I mean, taking acidic water with the effect it on
Yes, I
its
agree.
effects on the blood
And the
pressure,
blood
on the
pressure.
arterioles. I've never gone through that, but however, intake of acidic water could cause other forms of damages in the organs, which may later on now
That can now lead to blood pressure.
affect the blood, the arterioles. But I've never read through a direct impact, a direct connection with intake of acidic water and what is it called, and hypertension. So I don't know whether Ngozi has come across it. I've never come
No,
across such.
I agree with you. There is really, I haven't seen any study that links high blood pressure with acidic water. I've not seen any study to that effect. I haven't too.
So,
That has linked high blood pressure with acidic water.
yes.
I haven't seen anything to.
However,
What we should
if you
take
take
home here
acidic
is
water,
our
if you take
diet
too
and
much
our
acidic water, maybe if
lifestyle.
intake of acidic water could cause damage to the kidney, then kidney damage will now result in increase in hypertension. But for it now to come directly and affect the arterioles, no, it could be as a result of the what is it called, the damage it has caused to other organs that can now result, we call it a secondary cause, secondary cause of hypertension now. So there is no direct link with acid water intake and hypertension. Olad, I think you get
Okay,
that.
thank you. Thank you so much. I think my take home is that prevention is better than cure. So
Yes.
is to watch the
Yes, that's what we
level of
want
the
to
water we
emphasize
drink,
on.
because by experience in Lagos, there's a particular brand of water called La Sena. La Sena is a what is gotten from these natural artisan wells that come naturally from the aquifer of water underground, which has little or no other processing. And I've been taking the water, and I can tell you that it's very good to take that kind of water. It also helps the system, because basically the body aligns well with alkaline. It does well with alkaline. That is the pH level of alkalinity. It's a good environment for the body system. That's the information I got, and also
Yeah, most
I can see
importantly,
it. I can see it in
if
my body system. Yeah, thank you.
yeah, most importantly, if you take acid water,
Hello?
the damage it causes damage to the kidney. It affects the kidney because of the acidic, the high level of acid there. So, and when it damages the kidney,
You see?
the indirect effects will be to the arterioles, to the arterial supply, and it could also cause, in fact, when you are unable to excrete some of the waste products in the body, it also causes harm to the body. So hypertension could result from that, but
Thank you very much.
there is no direct cause of acidic water with hypertension.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If I may come in, hello.
Yeah.
Can I ask the next question, please? Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me, Nike and Doctor?
Monka, I'm
Do I
hearing
have
you.
your permission to talk? Okay.
I think hold on, Yinka. I think Funke raised her hand first, so maybe you have to give her permission to do that before you. Yeah.
I want to first appreciate our doctors in the house for a work well done. But my question goes thus: you made mention, Nike, that our eating habits, that we should reduce it. Me, I want to ask the question: is it normal, or is it allowed probably to skip a meal, like probably take your breakfast in between 10, 11 in the morning, and do away with your lunch, then you take dinner around 6? Or I want to hear your advice on that one. Then secondly, I want to ask if you said if somebody is tested hypertensive after you have been tested for 3 consecutive times and you have been confirmed hypertensive, is it at that point, is it reversible? Can we control it again by taking a precaution on all what you have said this evening? Thank you.
Okay. The first question, you said skipping of meal.
Yeah.
When you are not fasting, it is not advisable for an individual to skip meal. Even if you want to diet, skipping meal is not recommended for dieting. And most importantly, taking of breakfast is very, very important. So it is not advisable when you skip meal. Skipping of meal now, when we talk in terms of skipping of meal, you are no more relating it to hypertension now. Because when you skip meal, when you eat, maybe you've eaten in the morning, in the afternoon you skip meal. Maybe in the evening you skip meal, or you ate, so you'll find something to eat. Your digestive system, you are harming your digestive system, which at the end of the day, if care is not taken, especially if you have a high predisposing factor to having gastritis or ulcer, you are predisposed to that. And that is why it is not advisable for you, for an individual, even if you want to lose weight. You rather reduce your diet, and there are some form of dietary intake that is recommended for such individual in order to lose weight. So it is not advisable for an individual, when you are not fasting, it is not advisable for you to skip meal, no matter how small that the quantity of food intake you have to take in something, and most especially breakfast. It is very important. Then the second question you asked, I forgot it.
I said.
Can I say something? Can I say something? Can I say something, Nike?
Ngozi, talk.
Concerning feeding, can I say something? Actually, yes. Usually, what one would like is that breakfast, you should have your breakfast, then lunch. They say you eat like a prince. Breakfast is like you eat like a prince. Lunch, you eat like a king. But dinner, you eat like a poor man. What does that mean? Don't skip breakfast. Don't skip breakfast, but make sure that your breakfast is loaded with lots of vegetables. Okay. Then lunch, you should have your normal lunch. Then dinner is what you should not, because by the time you take your dinner, you're going to bed. And if your body digests it, the body will just digest and store it as fat because you're sleeping. You're not doing any activity. It's going to just store everything you have digested as fat in your body. Your body will just keep it as fat. So when you are active, the most active part of your day is when you should eat food. Eat anything you want to eat, but make sure that food is loaded with veggies. That is the idea. So in the morning, you should take your normal breakfast, but vegetable should be, part of it. We take a lot of these vegetables for granted. What do you call it? Garden egg, all those things. They are there everywhere. But we look at it as a poor man. When they see people eating garden egg, it's like, oh, don't wire the man. That's why.
And garden egg is very good for the heart. Garden egg is very good for the heart.
Garden egg is very good, but we look down on it as a poor man food or that kind of thing. I don't know why, but it's very good. You can, if you take your breakfast, you don't want to eat until you're full. You take your light breakfast, but you don't feel that fullness. You feel that you have not eaten. You cannot load yourself with that garden egg or even carrot. So you now have this sense of fullness. Vegetable is 0 calorie, so it gives you one sense of fullness. But you don't, but there's no calorie. I don't know if I'm making I'm carrying us along. Food is loaded with vegetable that has no calorie, so that your body. So your lunch should be, even if your lunch is heavy, should be loaded with vegetable. Then your dinner should be very light, so that your body will not be storing fat for you. Especially our women, we just sit down, eat huge quantities of food like that, mountain, and we finish it. No, we finish it and we go and sleep. Your body will just be keeping it for you as layers of fat. That's how.
Thank you. Thank you. My second question. I said my second question is that if somebody has been confirmed hypertensive, probably after testing like 3-4 times, and the reading is saying otherwise, as in above 140/90. Is there a way, as in you're able to detect earlier, not that it has been like that, okay? Is there a way one can reverse it, probably from the listed this thing that I said we can reverse, that we can control? Can it be reversed, as in now being normal, not being hypertensive again?
I think from the question you asked, I think I would like to keep some things that we miss from our presentation as a form of prevention of hypertension. From what we have said, especially the unmodifiable factor, in which the genetic factor is one of the risk factors that predisposes one to having a primary hypertension, which is very common in the adults. If you have a family history of hypertension, it is very, very important for you. The moment you get to the age of 40 years, it is at least at least minimum of once in a month, it is very important for you to be checking your blood pressure. I will recommend personally twice in a month for you, so that by the time the hypertension will set up, we will have picked it earlier. We said that hypertension can come without having any symptoms. So even if it now comes now, you don't even have the symptoms, it gives us a room for us to detect it earlier and start the necessary treatment or whatever form of treatment we want to give. And in treating hypertension, now come to your question. In treating hypertension, there are two ways by which you treat hypertension, depending on the level. How will I say now? Depending on the type of hypertension or the value it gives. For if you just have a mild form of prevention, you don't really necessarily have to start or to prescribe medication for such patients. It could just be your dietary modification. All the things we were talking about. Your dietary modification could be a form of prevention against having hypertension, and also could be a form of initial treatment for hypertension. So all the things we have talked about for you to be able to do, all the steps, the things you need to do for you to be able to prevent yourself from having hypertension once you are above the age of 40. Those are the things, dietary modification, all those modifications, those are the things you need. You just modify it for you as a form of treatment, a treatment modality for managing a mild form of hypertension. And the moment you now get to a stage by which a medication is prescribed for you, at that stage, even if it is detected at early, even if the type of hypertension is detected early, it is very, very important for you to stick to those medications. Your doctors will advise you to stick to those medications, and you continue. Once you start using those drugs, you continue to use those drugs and come to the hospital for follow-up. You don't stop using that medication until your doctor says you stop. And I'm so sure before you stop it, if it is well controlled, they will have tailored it down, the medication down for you. So I cannot say there is a type of hypertension the only type of hypertension that I know that is reversible is the one that occur maybe in most times is a secondary form of hypertension as the result of the ones that occur as a result of maybe intake of illicit drug, side effects of drugs, by which the moment you withdraw all those underlying factors, the blood pressure comes down. But most importantly, for primary hypertension, when it occurs, I say it in quotes, it's likely not reversible, but it can be controlled so that it will not damage all organs. And the moment you comply with your medications and you comply with your drugs, and with the help of God, I've seen a patient that was using it and was really coming for the follow-up, and we got to a stage that we reduced the drug to the end, even it got to a stage that he was only taking those medications maybe like twice a week, and God just helps her. That's a case on its own. But the moment you have a primary type of hypertension, it is not reversible. The cases that are reversible are the secondary type of hypertension, in which you know the underlying causes. But I will say that it is very important for us. It is, I will say that the prognosis is much more better when it is detected early, as you have said. Thank you. I don't know whether I'm
Thank
going
you
to
so
answer.
much. Yes, you have answered my question.
Over to you, Inka.
Hello.
Yeah, we're pending the time and Inka comes online. Tony is asking a question. I already shared the screen with her. So.
Ngozi, I cannot read it because I'm not with my glasses. Maybe you help.
Okay.
Ngozi, let Ngozi answer Tony's question. Hello.
Let me read it out.
After.
Yeah.
Kí ló fariwo báyìí?
It's from Yinka. I think it's
Can you hear
Yinka.
me?
Is he watching football?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you see the screen,
Can you hear
Dr.
me?
Ngozi?
Ngozi, can you see the screen? I can't read it. I'm not with my
yes,
glasses.
I can. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Please
We
read
can.
it out.
Yeah.
No.
How do we prevent
Read it, question.
hypertension?
Eh?
How
Yes,
do we
I can
prevent
hear you.
hypertension, low blood pressure?
Okay, low blood pressure now. So
Can
Yeah.
I
Ngozi,
say something?
let's
Can I
Ngozi
say
talk.
something?
Yeah, we can
Can
hear
I
you.
say something?
Yes.
I'm actually going to start from where Nike stopped before I continue to Tony's question. Now, even when drugs are started, when we start drugs, you still don't stop those lifestyle modifications. The lifestyle modification is done in addition to the drugs. So you don't just say take drugs and all that. You will still do exercise. You still stop. You have to stop alcohol if you're smoking.
It's a continuum. Yes.
So
it's a continuum.
So it's an adjunct. You have to add it to the drugs. Now, can you hear me? My network is.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So those two things go hand in hand. So when people start drugs, there's a tendency that they just avoid. They don't continue with their lifestyle modification. I know someone who will take his drug and still go and have a binge and all that. It's not advisable. You have to stop all those drugs and all the alcohol, smoking, do exercise and all that. In addition to those drugs that your doctor has given you. Concerning reversal of blood pressure, what is known is that even if it doesn't reverse, it delays complication. You see, what kills people is not blood pressure, it's the complication. Heart attack, somebody will sleep, I will not wake up. What happened? And he's hypertension, and he didn't know. He will just sleep. Maybe he went and had a night party and went to bed and sleep and doesn't wake up. And they'll say his village people have come. Meanwhile, the man is hypertensive. He had a heart attack in his sleep. Those are the complications we want to prevent. Or he has a stroke. A 40-year-old man is having a stroke. Who is going to carry him? Is he his children? Is he his wife? Who is going to fend for his family? Those are the things we're trying. So even if we may not reverse it back to the normal, so it will delay complication. It will also delay a lot of things that will happen in the future. That's the target now. No longer that you want to reverse it back to the normal. Even if it doesn't get back to normal, it will not give you problems. Because those problems that kill people faster. A man who had a renal failure is going for dialysis. How do you dialysis is how much? 3 times a week, maybe a session of dialysis is 40,000. And 3 times a week, you're talking about 120,000. In a month, times it by 4 in a month, 480,000. Who is going to afford that kind of, So we want to delay, because the blood pressure, hypertension affects all the organs, the brain, the heart, the kidney, the eyes. People are going blind. Yeah, the retina, the blood pressure will just form what we call a hypertensive retinopathy. The retina will just grow some things, and the man goes blind. And he's working, he's fending for his family. How is he going to do that? So if it doesn't reverse, it doesn't progress. That is the idea. It doesn't progress and cause complications. So concerning hypotension, I've heard people say, I went to the hospital, I was told I have hypotension. Yes, there are people who have those kind, but they are very few. And and what I keep telling people is, and one woman told me, in fact, that they have to give her ORS so that her blood pressure will come up again. I mean, when her blood pressure was very high, you have to be careful. Who is measuring what? Let's be careful who is measuring what and giving you that value of hypotension. Hypotension is not as common as people think. I keep hearing outside. I have hypotension. I've never seen where, hypotension causes so much damage. But then, people who really have it can have complications. Okay, but it's not something that is worrisome like that. Hello, hello,
We can hear you.
hello,
We can hear you.
hello. Are
We
you
are
there?
hearing. Yeah, we can hear you.
Nike, Nike.
Yeah, I
The
actually mute.
question is hypotension.
What's the question? I can't read it.
Hypotension, hypotension,
What is the
hypotension,
question?
hypotension.
What was Tony's question on hypotension?
Yeah, that's how do you prevent hypertension?
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody muted me. Somebody has muted me again.
No, we didn't mute you.
Prevention.
No, we can hear you.
Okay,
We can
I
hear
can see
you. We
now.
can hear you.
Prevention of hypotension, as Ngozi has said, hypotension is not it. I will say I see it a lot because I deal with children. But hypotension is not something common in adults. And when it occurs, there are some things that are predisposed to someone having hypotension. Like when you have hypoglycemia, you don't eat for days, you starve yourself. Even if you are fasting, check your BP, you find out that the BP is low. So there are other causes of hypotension, side effects of drugs, some adrenal problems too, some form of organ dysfunctions too. They predispose to someone having hypotension, but it's not something as common as hypertension. So even if an adult should have hypotension, I would say some of the common things are very simple that predisposes an individual and an individual adult to having hypotension, sorry. So the prevention of hypertension, when you know the cause, you'll be able to prevent it. So there are some, and with hypotension now, something just came to my mind now. There are different types of hypotension now, and I don't want to go into that, like postural hypotension. There is one that when you lie down, by the time you come up, you stand up, your blood pressure drops. So there is those ones are problems of organ problems are predisposes to that. I don't want to go into that. So when we talk about hypertension now, there are different types of hypertension. But when we talk about hypertension in general, there are things that are caused by common things. Hypoglycemia, side effects of drugs. When someone is diabetic, maybe he's not, the person takes the medication without eating, they predispose to that individual to hypertension. And at the same time, in as much as hypertension can kill, hypotension too can kill. When it is too high, it can kill. When it is too low, it can kill if care is not taken. So I will say in summary, the common causes of hypertension are hypoglycemia, what is it called now? Side effects of, at least the ones I can remember, side effects of drugs and all those things. So when you eat very well, it prevents you from having all those, it prevents us from, an individual from having hypertension. Aside from some other secondary causes of hypertension in which I don't want to talk about the causes. All other secondary forms of hypertension, when you treat the underlying cause, the hypertension, the blood pressure comes back to normal. And in some patients, you even tell them there are some people that are predisposed to having it, just like genetically, their what is it called? Their blood pressure is always low, no matter how it is. So we encourage them to to increase their salt intake in their meal. So it is now the opposite of hypertension. With hypertension, you say you reduce salt intake, but with hypotension, you add, they eat, we are encourage them to eat more of salt because of the sodium that is present in the salt that helps in what is it called, increasing the blood pressure through some mechanisms which I wouldn't want to talk about. So prevention of hypertension is knowing what causes it and prevent against it. However, there are some people that are genetically predisposed to having low blood pressure, no matter what you do. So you treat them by encouraging them, taking salt, and you monitor their blood pressure because hypertension too can kill. Thank you.
Yinka, I'll let you first. He has a question, then followed by the other Yinka.
Yinka Demola, there's another.
Yeah, followed by Yinka Demola. Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, doctors.
I not see
Yeah,
your face.
you don't see my face like this
I
We can
cannot
because
see
I
your
black.
face.
well, we
Okay,
can,
you see
I
me.
can see.
General.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay.
I not
Now
see your face. Now they
you
see.
see, now did you see? Okay, but can you hear
I
my
not see
voice
the
now?
general. I can see
Can
your. Okay, now I can see you. I don't see
better.
him. Yes, I'm seeing
Well, I have a good job. You guys are doing a very good job. I celebrate you. More grace. Now, straight to my
you.
point.
Thank you.
Interestingly, I've been a victim of these two whatever, both the IPO and the IPA. About 4 or 5 years ago, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Go on,
What's
go on,
wrong?
go on.
Okay, because I heard Chibike. Okay, now
Because you do,
about 5 6 years ago, I had an accident, and due to that, my BP
blood loss
went my BP went up, and I've been on is it amlodipine or whatever name they call it. I
and
refuse.
lodipine.
Yeah, that's it. I've been on 10 milligram. At some point, they took me back to 5 mg. And I tell you, at some point, I discovered that if I drive for 5 10 minutes, I will feel drowsy. So eventually, they said I had hypotension, and the doctor said I should stop taking the drug for that period of time, and it normalized back to what they call hypertension now. You understand? So now, that being said, all what you ladies have taught us now, this lesson will not be complete without you telling us what we are now to be taking. I learned it's a lifetime thing, but I reject it. It won't be a lifetime because at times I stop it for like a month, I take it up again. But what I'm saying is, what are we to be taking? Both to prevent and to stop it to a level. Now, by God's grace, yesterday it was 130/90, and my doctor was saying it's normal, kind of. I don't know, but I still want it to go lower. But what I'm saying is, what are we to be taking?
To
What are we
prevent,
to
is
be
it to
taking?
prevent hypertension?
What do you
No,
say?
talking of
Value. What
hypertension,
is the value?
hypertension,
To
hypertension.
prevent
90,
What
hypertension.
is the value
yeah.
now?
The value is 130/90 now. 130/90 now. And my doctor was saying as I yesterday that it's now normal.
130/90 is normal for your age now.
Like, okay, do you know my age? I beg. Now,
Do
now,
I know your age? I can
For
tell
you
you
don't know
your
my.
age.
We can,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you
go
are
ahead
above
yes.
now.
40.
Thank
Uh,
How
you.
are you sure?
You are
yes,
above
you are
40
sure
now. It's
now.
okay.
It's not
So,
possible for you
it's
to have finished
okay.
How
secondary
many
school at the age of
milligrams?
10 years old. So,
am I saying?
so
Now,
10 plus
now,
10 plus
now,
30 is over 40.
Abi. So the question is, what are we to be taking? You've told us you guys should stop taking, stop smoking, stop doing this stuff. What
Yes.
are we to be eating? You said we should stop salty food. Good. What else? What are the natural things? Because all these Western drugs, I'm not down with them because they always have their repercussions. What are we to be taking? Is it a 40 rule or amala or what? Tell us what we are to be taking. Do you get my point now? Do you guys get me?
Those things
Me,
we have said earlier on, the things you need to be eating. Now, Yinka Olateju, stop eating red meat. Stop
am I the one
eating.
cooking it?
Yeah.
Am I the one
Oh,
cooking it?
you tell madam. that your
Okay.
doctor says you should stop eating red meat.
We don't take it
You
actually. We don't
preferably
take it.
uh
We don't take
you
it.
stop eating what is it called? Eat more now of vegetables.
Yeah.
Doctors will not tell you it is this other alternative medicine that they will tell you maybe take garlic water, it reduces. I will not be
Mm.
telling you all that. If that is what you want to hear, I
Ah.
won't be telling you that. But I will be encouraging you, like, okay, take garlic. You can use garlic uh, to cook meat.
We
You
do
can
that.
use garlic. They said at least studies have been done on that one. At least I'm sure of that one. You eat like cabbage. I said cabbage. Garden egg
Garlic.
that Ngozi was talking about, and I'm sure of that one too. That one is cardioprotective. So all these this moringa water, moringa kidney, you would not don't expect me to be saying that. I won't be saying
Mm.
all those ones because they
Why
are
not?
not part of my. Those ones are alternative medicine. The ones I'm sure, all the vegetables, the garlic, the what is it called, garden egg. Those ones are scientifically proven. So those are the things
Okay.
I will be telling you to be doing. If you
Okay.
want me to be saying taking moringa, I won't say take moringa. Even if people have tested it and they say it's working, my profession does not allow me to be saying it to you. So I will only say what is in the book and what we have learned and what studies have done. They've done study on, and they have proven it to be scientifically um, adequate for you. So we have said it. Eat a lot of vegetables. Avoid unsaturated fat. We have prescribed um, the type of oil you should be using. You tell madam either you use olive oil
She
or you
heard you when you
use
were saying it.
eh
She
pardon,
heard you when you were saying it. She heard you when you
okay,
were saying
so
it.
or sunflower oil. Those are the things you go for. You eat more of fish, more of poultry food. And when we say poultry food, when it gets to egg, do not, if you want to eat egg, don't eat the egg yolk.
Ah.
That's
Okay.
another thing. Don't eat. It's not for you now. It's for the children. Don't eat the egg yolk, because the egg yolk contains, it produces the end product of it. It produces a large quantity of bad cholesterol, which is bad for the heart.
Mm.
So if you cannot avoid eating egg, do you understand? Just eat the white parts, and preferably maybe you boil it most of the time so that you can eat the white part and throw the egg yolk away.
All right.
What other things?
That's good.
Mostly
That's good.
vegetables. Reduce your carbohydrate intake. Eat a lot of fiber containing food. If I
All
go
right.
through go through my book, I will go through some of the food you can take, and maybe I will post it.
All right then.
But
Thank
presently
you so
now,
much.
it's not coming. Yeah. I don't know
Thank you
whether
so much.
Ngozi has something to add.
We can't hear Ngozi. Can we have Dr. Ngozi? We can't hear you. Can anybody hear her?
She's out of it.
Mm. Can we? Is it possible for us to have Yinka the question so that because we will soon be rounding up, maybe in the next 15 minutes, so we
Hello,
can
please, can
do.
I quickly ask the doctor? Please, I'm so sorry. I'm
No,
so sorry.
hold on, for I have Yinka Shu. I don't know. It's not online at the moment.
Yinka is offline. Yinka is
Yeah,
offline.
it's offline. Oh,
Yeah, it's offline.
So,
okay.
can I ask my
You
question?
can ask your questions before.
Please, doctor, I have this thing. It's not always easy
But we
to
can't
dash
see
into the.
Funke.
Don't worry. It's not always easy to dash into the hospital and say you want to check your blood pressure. So I have this handy blood machine at home. But I don't know how to read it. Most of the time when I just bring it out to check my blood pressure, I don't know. I don't know whether you can put me through the number that I will be showing that I will know that okay, I'm within the limit, or I'm satisfied, okay, or so.
We've already defined hypertension for you. We've already said the range is between 120/80 and 140/90. So if it is more than that, do you understand? If it is more
Okay.
than that, there is something is wrong. And preferably,
Okay.
when you want to take it, you take it when you are at rest or when you just
Okay.
wake up in the morning.
Wake up.
Because
Okay.
blood pressure differs with activities.
Okay.
So it is preferably taken at rest or when you just wake up in the morning.
Okay. All right.
Do
Thank
you
you.
understand?
Yes, thank you.
A question from Modupe too. I think she said she has a question too. She can unmute
Modupe?
herself. Yeah.
Who is
Yeah.
Modupe?
Fork and knife.
She would.
Is there any Modupe in our class?
She'll
Yes,
answer
no.
you now. Yes, she will.
Yeah.
Okay, you can
Hello.
talk. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, Dupe
Our
Adegbe.
lecturers, you have really tried this evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
Hello, the doctors. Yeah, I have a question. When we're talking about the obesity of a thing, I will not say I'm
Yeah.
obese, but I'm fat, and I've tried all my best. I was at the hospital. You go to a stage, the doctor told me, I think it's in your gene. You understand? So most of the time I will take a lot of vegetables. I
Eh?
take little food with a lot of
People come now. I'm
vegetables.
not hearing them
So,
again.
so what do
Please
you
go outside.
think
Though. This thing is
I
getting
can
hot.
do?
You can't say you are not obese until you are able to do your we're able to hello? Hello?
We
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
We can hear you.
Yeah. I can't say whether you are obese or you are overweight. Do you understand? Until we are able to calculate your weight and your height squared and be able to get a
Hello,
figure.
Kakaye.
Hello,
Okay.
that is when I can now say whether you are
Mumbo.
obese or not. Do you
With that now,
understand?
what can I? All right.
Now you are trying
So
to lose weight, and it seems as if you are not losing weight. Some
I'm not.
people's genetic, it seems as if you are not losing weight. Is that not what you are saying?
Yes,
And you want to lose
People
weight.
come and enter. Where do you
yes.
press to enter your
Yeah.
comment?
The moment you start this dietary modification,
Yeah.
there is no way. If you are very, very diligent to it, there is no way you will not lose weight. When you want to eat inyo, or you
I
stay
don't
away
take
from
inyo.
inyo,
I don't take inyo.
even if you want to
I don't even
semo,
take it.
semo that is lighter than inyo, it's just like
Okay.
your feast. You eat. I've told you. By the time you follow these things strictly, there is no way you will not lose weight. Or
Okay.
decide to go on vegetable. Just go on veggies. Say I want to
Okay.
be eating just vegetable with exercise. So losing weight is not all about doing exercise alone, and losing weight is not all about working on your diet alone. It's a combination of different things together. You do
Okay.
exercise, you monitor your dietary intake, you keep watch on what you consume. Do you understand?
Okay.
So those are
Okay.
the two things. Those are the factors that work hand in hand in losing weight. I can assure you. I don't know your level. Maybe you will tell me. Try and take your weight and your height, so that we're able
Okay.
to calculate your BMI. So that
Okay.
we will know.
We privatize. I will privatize too.
Yeah, so that we will know the class in which you are. Maybe you are normal or overweight or obese.
Okay. Okay.
So by the time you do that, you have gotten the initial level. That's the level, I mean, that's the value you have. By the time you now do exercise, you now work strictly on your dietary intake. There's no way you will not lose weight. You will lose weight.
Okay. Okay, maybe
So
when we
maybe
talk, yeah,
something is wrong
because
somewhere. You've not done that.
I've tried all those things, and I'm
Uh,
still on it. At least
if I
in a day, at least 20 minutes walk every day.
if I tell you now,
Yeah,
from Monday, if you want
memory.
to
Yes.
eat eba, if you want to eat
Ah.
amala, just two okele. What is it okele now? Just put two okele in
Kí ló máa ń
your
pè?
in your plate with a lot of vegetables, and be doing that within a month. You will lose weight. I tell you.
All right.
So if you take strictly to all those ones, Maybe when we see privately, I will tell you to go strictly on some diet.
Okay, okay.
There is no way you will not lose weight.
All right.
Your exercise.
There was a time the doctor gave me one. He even said I should go on keto. I tried. I did everything. I do a lot of exercise. I don't take breakfast on time. So I don't know. But the doctor now concluded that it's in your gene.
That is good.
The only thing is that I should just monitor it.
No. By the time you do all this and you are still there, there is no improvement. But you are taking strictly to all those things. You will find out that even though you appear fat, but you are very healthy. You are smart. You are fit.
Yes.
Just continue with all those things. Don't relent.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay. All
that
right.
means with your exercise and all those things, you are still burning some energy in you. So you continue with it. Yes.
Even with this lockdown, I still do it since I don't go to work.
Yes. Just
I do
continue.
morning.
But let us have your baseline BMI. Then work strictly on your dietary intake and your exercise. You will see that there is a difference. There will be a difference.
All right. Thank you so much. I could share them. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to add, because when they're saying vegetable, our form of the kind of vegetable we eat in Nigeria, when we have a roll, we have all these abodi, shaki, bokoto, and all those stuff. It's not that kind of vegetable they're talking about. So I think the doctor should be able to expatiate more and they do less.
When we talk about vegetable, we talk about eating all these foriro, spinach, cabbage. Cabbage is a vegetable. Tomato is a vegetable. Carrot is a vegetable. Do you understand? Each other one belongs to all those groups. You know, in Nigeria, we are so blessed. We have different types of vegetables. So eat cabbage, eat carrots, eat I would try and there are a lot of foods on that vegetable. Maybe I will look for them and I will post them. You know, I'm not a nutritionist. So
please, we want you to post them or post it so I can know what to eat. Thank you.
But please, you keep reminding me privately because
no problem. No problem. We'll remind you. No problem.
Adult education.
Thank you. In fact, I really enjoyed this program. God bless you all.
God bless you too.
So I think we can all now unmute ourselves and say our goodbyes before we end the chat.
Funke, please, all those things I said I will post. Just remind me because
okay. Can you see me now that I'm fat? So God have mercy on me.
But make sure you are fit. Make sure you are fit.
Yeah.
Make sure you are fit.
Thank you. I will remind you.
If you really want to work on your weight, you can.
Yeah.
Ask Ngozi. She worked on her weight. She was fatter than that.
Dr. Ngozi, I will private chat you, please.
Doctor, Pomo Koshe Pomoda.
Mama has nothing. Mama has nothing. Kò ní kankan.
Pẹ̀lú àmàlà.
Roughage ni pọ̀nmọ́. Roughage.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, same here. So thank you. We want to thank our doctors for educating us in all these things. So thank you so much. It's possible that
I greet you.
So thank you, everybody. So we try and see how we can send the video down. I don't know, maybe you can view it from the chat for those that are not able to participate. We see how we can get the video across to them. So they can.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. It's nice seeing you all again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yes, so.
Okay, now so
Alaji.
yeah.
Sam,
Yes, so.
Alaji,
Mm.
your sister is at the door.
Oh, Abe. I didn't greet you.
Bye bye.
Dr. Adenike.
Sir, oh,
Ẹ ṣé o.
mo ti lọ wo bọ́ọ̀lù ni.
Auntie Toyin,
Tóyìn,
Auntie Tolu,
Ìjà
tell your
Adépọ̀
mom.
well done.
Yeah, thanks. You know what?
Tóyìn,
Adenike.
Tóyìn, Chief Media Officer. Mo rò bó ti lọ wo bọ́ọ̀lù ni.
Mo ò tí ì lọ wo bọ́ọ̀lù mo wà ń bí o.
Okay, time when
Okay,
you
wọ́n
match.
ló ń béèrè hypotension. Wàá sí mi ní kámẹ́rà.
Mo ní sọ̀rọ̀ sparkling. No, mo kàn ń béèrè ni.
Oh, sparkling water, I forgot. Yeah.
Àbí
Kí ló wà nínú sparkling water?
sparkling water.
Kí ló wà nínú ẹ̀ náà? Content ẹ̀.
Ó kàn ní gas ni, ó kàn ní gas. Ó kàn ní gas.
Kí wá tún ló tún ní?
Ó tàn gas náà ni. Kí mo sparkling water ni.
Mo mu sparkling èmi kàn mú ni. Water is water to me. I don't know.
Èyí máa mọ sparkling water.
Ó tiẹ̀ ní.
There are so many waters here. Oríṣiríṣi.
Ó lóríṣiríṣi water.
Oríṣiríṣi water ló wà níbí báyìí. Even the flavored ones.
Sparkling water.
Flavor water.
Alkaline water, all those kind of water. So it is well. Okay, Eshegonu, thanks for everybody for.
Bye bye.
We hope to have another session like this again.
We hope so.
Yeah, so,
Thank
thank you, everybody.
It's been a very good session.
Yeah.
Interesting session. Yeah.
So we all have a nice.
How regularly should we
Well,
be doing this?
It all depends on the topics we have. Yeah, and it all depends on the kind of topics we have. But about pressing, we can just.
Yes, Odeji, well done.
Yeah. Along. Okay, Doctor Zubai, see everybody.
Bye bye. Bye. Bye bye.
Bye, Peter, guys. All right, bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Put the light on.